It seems like for the past few years, we've been told that you need to skip breakfast, that fasting is great. Autophagy, autophagy, autophagy. Oh, man. But data, think about science, is it's never truly solved. We're always learning more. There's always more data to be had. I follow the science, and if you're following the science, you might turn right, you might turn left. It's like being in a high-speed chase in a movie. But the bottom line is we have some new data here that we can actually extrapolate from and figure out what's best for you and me. Okay, I'm going to get into that right now. Boom! But first, if you're looking at dieting, number one thing is you need to control hunger. So I'm going to tell you, go to tigerfitness.com right now and pick up some No Morbidity. No Morbidity is the greatest appetite suppressant ever created. Hunger management, stress management. We have people losing stupid amounts of weight on this thing. Has 4 patented ingredients. Again, we're following science. If you're looking at science, you want to lose weight, number one thing is eat less. That's the number one thing. One way to eat less, control your appetite, control your stress, control your anxiety. How do you do that? No Morbidity. Check it out, link in the description box. Let's talk about this study. It's actually, I'm reading it from Forbes magazine. I will also link the study down below. It's from the journal Obesity. I'm going to read this paper and then we're going to go over it, okay? The article is no low protein diet from processed foods drives overeating and is fueling obesity crisis, study finds. So I have the study right here. I'm going to link the study and the article down below. So here's the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is that now we have some data to back up some things we already knew. And that has to do with protein. I know the last thing you want to hear is a 220 pound, 5'7" professional bodybuilder talk about the importance of protein. It's just boring. It's ad nauseum BS that you have to hear from people like me. But the bottom line is I'm right. I've been right for the last few years. All of my diets have been based around protein. From when I wrote my first book, The Game Over Cut Diet with Chuck Rudolph and Derek Charleboy in 2004 to now. So we're going to read this, okay? First, I'm going to take a sip of this Ghost energy drink available at tigerfitness.com. I don't own Ghost, but I really like their energy drinks. And I train at 5 a.m. in the morning, and by around noon right now, I need a little caffeine pickup. Check it out. The low protein content of highly processed foods like soda, chips, and fast food could be key to understanding why they are fueling rising rates of obesity in the Western world, according to research published in the journal Obesity, underscoring the macronutrients' central role in the growing public health crisis and possible interventions that can help people eat better. Now, at the end, they go into the issues with obesity, such as the increasing health costs, fact that it's a national security issue, because only, I think it's something like 2 in 5 American youth or people, young people who could serve in the military can actually pass the fitness test. It's terrible. Obesity is an epidemic. I'm here to help you guys. Not only am I here to help fat people become unfat and not die and live their best life, I'm here to help healthy people get leaner and look better. So I'm here for everybody, man. Key facts. The amount of protein eaten during the first meal of the day has a profound influence on what people went on to eat in subsequent meals. First meal of the day. Breakfast. I'm sorry, intermittent fasting, guys. We're going to have to poop all over you here. Researchers found, according to a study of self-reported national survey data on nutritional and physical activity, covering more than 9,300 Australians. So I'm assuming you guys are eating kangaroo meat, and that's okay. Very lean. Kangaroo meat's delicious, by the way. It's a lot like, if you're in the U.S., a lot like venison. I would say it's very similar to venison. A little more gamey, in my opinion. Those consuming higher levels of protein at the start of the day, again, start of the day, high protein. And I'm going to reference, hopefully I can find it. I did an article on this way back about the perfect breakfast and what it should contain, but let me move on. Energy beyond what, okay. Those consuming higher levels of protein at the start of the day had lower overall energy intakes. Energy beyond what the body needs is stored. Basically, ate less food, often as fat, throughout the day compared to those who consumed lower levels of protein during the first meal, the researchers find. Basically, protein at the beginning of the day makes you satiated, okay? Satiation means that you eat less food. Satiation means lack of hunger. It satiates you. It cures your hunger. Those eating low levels of protein in the first meal ate more at subsequent meals and tended to eat more energy-dense processed foods high in saturated fats, sugar, salt, or alcohol, the researchers found, as well as eating less recommended food groups like grains, vegetables, and fruit. This is getting interesting because this actually reinforced a belief I had that I didn't have any proof of, and I don't believe they found proof of this, but the researchers actually talked about it. This further decreased the proportion of energy gained from protein, the researchers said. Also, by the way, protein overeating has been shown to make it very difficult to gain fat, whereas carbon-fat overeating, very easy to gain fat. As such, foods are typically poor sources of macronutrient and effect termed protein dilution. So basically, when you eat junk food or packaged garbage, you generally don't get enough protein. Okay, that's it. So while the title indicated that packaged goods are the problem, I will actually go further and say lack of protein is the problem. The finding bolsters the idea that protein is a key driver of human appetite and the obesity epidemic. Listen. The researchers said, suggesting that people are driven to eat more and eat more unhealthily to satisfy their body's need for protein. This is the part that I don't want to sound weird. It kind of gave me an erection. This is something that Marc Bell's been saying. This is something that a lot of researchers have been saying. Beyond the body's need for protein, for muscle growth, for satiation, whatever, beyond that, this actually goes further and states there's a primal need. David Robbenheimer, a professor at the University of Sydney involved in the research, said it has become, listen to this, increasingly clear that our bodies eat to satisfy a protein target. Let me say it again. Increasingly clear that our bodies eat to satisfy a protein target, describing the findings as a revolutionary insight in understanding human obesity and the drivers of obesity, human nutrition and the drivers of obesity. So let me explain why I'm so excited about this data sent to me by my good friend, Alan Roberts. If you don't follow him here on YouTube. I'll link him down below. He sent this to me this morning. So here's what's fascinating. We know that there are essential amino acids and essential fatty acids, but there's no such thing as essential carbohydrate. There just isn't. And I can argue for fiber, but they'll argue against that too. So I'm not going to make that argument. Don't want that smoke. Okay, so check it out. Follow me here. So essential amino acids are the building blocks of muscle. It also has been shown that protein has a better satiation effect than any macronutrient. So you need your essential fatty acids, and once those are fulfilled, they're fulfilled. Protein, however, if you have too much protein where it doesn't need to be used for muscle building, repair, whatever, it gets converted to carbohydrate via a process known as gluconeogenesis in the liver. So protein can not only provide protein, but it can also provide energy via carbohydrate via gluconeogenesis, whereas fat provides energy as stored energy, but in a process where you would literally need to lack sufficient protein and sufficient carbohydrate, fat can be converted to ketones in the body via a process known as ketogenesis, which can also supply energy to the brain and the body. The brain's main source of fuel is glucose. So not only can protein fuel the body, but it can also fuel the brain. In fact, the glucose that protein would create via gluconeogenesis, why wouldn't the brain be able to use that? And of course, your liver stores glycogen, all that good stuff. So let me just kind of extrapolate this for you. Everybody should build their program, their meals around protein. Whereas it used to be with the food pyramid, which I believe the USDA might have had the best of intentions, or the sugar lobby could have paid them off. Either way, someone got rich and everybody got sick and fat. That's the problem. Do I think carbohydrate are evil? No. I eat carbohydrate in every meal. Do I think fat is evil? No, you need fat to survive. Again, it's an essential nutrient. However, where we went wrong, where all these, these skinny fat vegan dietitians went wrong, these registered dietitians, and they're still teaching the same crap in RD classes. That's why most registered dietitians are complete morons. Although there are some amazing ones like Doug Kalman and my buddy Wendy, really great dietitians, right? But they follow the science. They follow the data. They follow what the ISSN, the International Society of Sport Nutrition, puts out, in that they are keeping up with the data. But I mean, I've seen programs. I coach youth athletes, right? So we're in a rich community. I'm not saying that to brag. I just want to preface this, where parents will spend money and take their kids to a registered dietitian, and then they'll take them to coaches like us, right? Great community to have a youth performance facility. Legacyatcarbon.com, by the way, legacyatcarbon.com. So I'll look at these programs, and they'll have the kids eat literally 3 grams, like Special K for breakfast with skim milk. I'm like, are you just asking for that kid to get diabetes? Like, your breakfast should literally be protein and then fill in everything else. For me, lately, I've been having 1.5 cups to 2 cups of egg whites with some oatmeal or some whole grain bread or something, right? For lunch, I'll have, either lean ground beef, chicken, or salmon mixed with quinoa. I've been on a quinoa kick lately, right? So that's kind of where you have to look at how you build your meals. But I always look at, am I fulfilling my protein needs and requirements? Protein needs would be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. Or if you're obese, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight per day. So I would say that, if you're obese, like 300 pounds, you should be 180. You could probably get by with like 220, 230 grams of protein. But if you're a leaner, I'm talking 20% and under individual for a male, or female for that matter, maybe 25% for a female. You're looking at, you could go 1 gram per pound. Because what will happen is if your protein's high, you just take away the calories from carbohydrate. So worst case scenario, you get in a little too much protein and your body's just like, cool, extra energy. And also it has a more satiating effect. And it also, if you are overeating per se, you're less likely to gain fat from it. That's what's beautiful about protein. Now it's really not possible unless you're in renal failure to overdo protein. They've done studies with 2 grams per pound, 3 grams per pound, 4 grams per pound. And they found that in healthy individual has low deleterious effect on kidney function. You can throw that out the door. So let's go to the fasting issue. So there is studies and data to show that protein in the morning does cause you to eat less during the day. Whereas fasting, since you have less opportunity to mess up on your diet, decreases your caloric intake, which will lead to more fat loss. Okay? So again, this is where no morbidity comes in. You combine a protein-focused diet with a proven appetite suppressant, you got the best of both worlds. At the end of the day, people say, I love when people go, I think I'm gaining weight because I'm eating too little. Unless you have PCOS or something weird like that, you're fooling yourself. For example, you guys have seen my daughter lately. She's lean, she's jacked, she's 125 pounds, 5'5", 5'6", a beast, strong as hell. She played her soccer season last season, not this season, at over 150 pounds. And she was like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm like, all right, let's evaluate this. So I would literally just watch her in the kitchen. And she would do things like put a handful of chocolate chips in her ambrosia planta. She'd put, she was on a, the hummus kick for a while. We factored in that she was literally getting 1,000 calories a day from shit like whipped cream and chocolate chips and this and that. So all she had to do is take out the bullshit. Next thing you know, she's jacked and shredded. A lot of people throw in stupid calories. For me, the first week of dieting, if I'm getting ready for a show and I stay obscenely lean, I have great genetics, okay, I get it. But the first thing I do is I stop putting chocolate chips in my MTS whey. I stop putting whipped cream on my coffee, and I'll literally lose 2 or 3 pounds just by doing that. It's insane how much extra bullshit we eat. Even between meals, like snacking on this, snacking on that. Take away snacks. And again, I can't say enough. No Morbidity will help with that. But say you don't buy No Morbidity. No skin off my back, right? How do you keep your appetite down? Focus all your meals around protein. And I'm going to say this because I've tried intermittent fasting. I've written books on intermittent fasting, which weren't intermittent fasting because I replaced the fasting part with MCTs and beautiful supplements like Ambrosia Fuerte, which is the C8 MCT. So my fasting program is essentially not fasting. You're just not eating whole food and you're eating certain nutrients that won't spike your insulin. If I'm going to design the perfect diet, you're eating breakfast. You're waking up, you're eating breakfast. What I do is if I'm on my way to, if I train first thing like this morning, I left at 5 a.m. to go to the gym and train legs. I ate an Outright bar and drank some Clash 3D on the way to the gym. Outright bar has between, well, most bars are 15 to 20 grams of protein. There you go. And around 25 grams of carbs, around 10 grams of fat. For me, that's perfect. But you know what? You wake up in the morning. Let's say you don't have an appetite in the morning. They have powdered protein. I know it's crazy, right? So some mornings when I have time, let's say I'm training a client in the morning and I don't have time, I have work or I have a call, is I will literally mix up a quarter cup to a half cup of oatmeal with 2 scoops of MTS whey. That is 30 grams of carbs. All right, if I do a half cup, and that is 50 grams of protein. And it'll keep me satiated throughout the morning and good to go. Whey protein is also anorectic. It's very immune efficient, meaning it converts to glutathione in the body quite efficiently, even more efficiently by some measures than NAC. So again, you need to look at things like that. So start out your day with a high protein breakfast, whether it's egg whites, whether it's whey protein, whether it's chicken, whether it's beef, I don't care. Whether it's an Outright bar, that'll help. You know, get protein first thing, period. Whether you drink whey alone, you have whey with carbs, depends on your macronutrient needs and your ability to get in food, okay? Then throughout the day, when you're hungry, again, when you're hungry, unless you're on a set bodybuilding meal plan, unless you hired me as a coach at marclobliner.com or another coach is coaching you, we're telling you what to eat, then you eat if you're hungry or not. If you're on a set program, but if you're just a normal person, doesn't measure their food, really easy way to do it. Focus on protein. If you're still hungry after eating, have more protein, okay? If you're hungry between meals, have more protein. Protein is the key. And who doesn't like a great chicken breast, right? Who doesn't like it? Anyway, hopefully that helps you out. I'm gonna link the studies down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, and of course, buy all your supplements, including this Ghost Energy drink, as well as No Morbidity at tigerfitness.com. Thank you so much for watching. That's not a game.
Training intensity is everything. If you want to build muscle, if you want to get better, if you want to go hard, you need to train intense. A lot of pre-workouts, they get you intense. But then what happens? You crash. A lot of pre-workouts, they give you the pump. But then what happens? It wears off. A lot of pre-workouts, they'll give you all that stuff, but it doesn't add to your endurance. I want to be able to lift heavy. I want to be able to feel the pump. I want veins bulging from every single part of my body. I want to lift heavier weights every single time. I want to run farther. I want to run faster. I want to push harder, and I want to get bigger, stronger, and faster. And that's why I created Clash 3D. This pre-workout is next level, featuring 3D pump, Vasodrive AP, and a lot of other epic ingredients. Guys, this is the pre-workout that you need to take your workouts and your performance and your physique to the next level. Oh.